Hey all, so another day and another video, and true UK weather. It's gone from a few lovely sunny days to its standard meh weather, bit nondescript, but it's been raining all morning, which hasn't been too nice, so I've not done much. So I've now hopefully going to start working on the framework of the Observatory. As I say, I've got all these down, I half lap my joints, it's all screwed to the floor. I'm having lots of thoughts about the height of the walls. My initial thought was put the main scope in the home position. I wanted the roof to be able to close with it in the home position. Now thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know if that's all going to be so tall, and the walls heights are going to lose me a few degrees of imaging, and do I want to bring them down a little bit and have the scope in a park position? The only worry with that is because it's going to be such a heavy roof. It didn't matter so much on my shed, my little budget build that I did, because the roof was so light. If it hit the scope, it wasn't going to do any damage anyway. Not that I wanted it to ever do that, but this roof is going to be so heavy, if it hit the scope, it mostly smash it. So that's something I need to consider. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to fit extra sensors and make sure that there's a backup, so that if for some reason the roof does try to close while the scope is up, it'll be stopped, or it just won't move. I'll make sure there's a safety switch involved somewhere, and make sure that that works. So I'm just going to get cracking, do what I can. I've got a couple more days before I need to go back to work, so I'm just going to try and get as much of this completed as possible. My name's Glenn, you're watching Astrobloke. Okay, hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit of a pause in the work, unfortunately. A little bit of weather. I also had a problem with one of my knees, got a bit of an infection unfortunately, but that's on the mend now, so that's good. And also just literally thinking about how to build this part and get all of the ordering of the right amount of stuff and everything. So the plan is there. I've had to put my CT10 on and balance it and everything so that I've got the height to work to. I've gone back to my original idea that I do want the roof to be able to open and close with the scope in the home position. Yes, if I had a park position, the walls could be lower. That, which is the building, the office, is quite high, but I've got all trees the other side of that, so I wouldn't get any more view to the west, even if the office wasn't there. To the north, I've got a few trees. I've got a couple of trees to the east, and I've got trees to the south. So to be honest with you, even if I brought the walls down and had this in a park position, I wouldn't gain anything because of the outlook everywhere. So it's going to be absolutely fine at the height it's at. I've just been thinking about, am I going to go with a felt roof? I've actually decided against that. I'm going for a rubber roof. I've looked at the rubber roof systems, they look really good. trying to decide, do I do a pitched roof or a flat roof? I'm going to do a flat roof so it matches the office. What am I going to clad it in? So there I was looking at lots of different things, and wood has become ridiculously expensive. So I'm actually looking at the hardy plank, which is a really nice finish, very, very durable, and I can get it in the anthracite grey, so it will match the doors and windows on the office. So that's what I'm going to go for, and get that in there. So today we're going to carry on with this structure, get the framework up. Once all the framework's up, I can then work out how much of OSB board I need, and other things like breathable membrane, battening, and the roof structure, because I need to know the size of the roof, because we're having a lower roof coming off of the office, and then the top roof is going to slide over the top of that. So I'll know exactly the sizes to get, and also the sizes of my beams to run out, and then I've got to put some uprights down as well for them to go on. So quite a few stages left. It's going to take me a while to get all that done, but I'll update you possibly with 1 or 2 videos, and we'll keep you informed of how everything's going. But I think on my last video I mentioned I've got power down here. I've now got internet down here. I've run a armoured Ethernet cable down, so I've got full internet down here. I've tested out my remote connection, all works fine, so I'm really pleased with that, and it's all coming together lovely. So lots of little things to do, but once I've got it all completed, I can give you a good proper tour. So hopefully you'll be back for that. Right, speak to you later. In that dead vertical hole. Look at you. Roy, so no swearing, you're on live TV. Okay, now we're going to cut some wood for all of the stonework. Never ends, you know. Okay, well unfortunately time is against me. I need to go back to work. I've had a delivery but it hasn't come till later in the day and it's actually just started raining, so rain stop play. Oh dear, that don't look too clever. Anyway, put tarp over the top to give everything a chance to stay as dry as possible. And I did actually had the CT10 up last night with the 533 on it. So hopefully I actually captured some data. I'm going to have a look at that later tonight and hopefully share that with you. Fingers crossed it should be a picture. I think it's called the Ghost Nebula. It's right next to the Iris Nebula. So I had a little shot at that last night. Everything, once I got it working, was going well. But all the woodwork and noggins are in. Extra supports on this area here because this is where I'm going to be putting my motor for the roll-off roof, so it needed extra support there. And just little things really, like putting a ball catch on the door. But all the OSB boards arrived, which we need to now get up here and then start screwing on, which will give it all the triangular support it needs. It'll really firm it up then. And then I've got my posts to run out. I've done the concrete pads down there. So the posts are going to run a little bit further than that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 4x4 posts with a Y at the top. So you've got 3 points of support on the end of the post, and the bottom of the posts are going to go in those bolt down post feet. And obviously that's going to mean that it'll help with the wood not sitting in water and rotting. And if the post should over time rot away, I can quite simply unbolt them, take them away and replace them. So that's all ready. As I say, we just got to board this out. So that's quite a bit of work. I've then got a breathable membrane to go around the outside. I can actually show you that to go on there. So that's waterproof and obviously breathable. So that'll be going around, wrapping around the outside. I'm thinking of putting the silver foil insulation on the inside. Actually, so it'll be on the other side of the inside of the obsi, so pointing outwards. But so it's got a layer of insulation just to help with keeping the temperatures from swinging too wildly. And then I've got battening. And then tomorrow I've got a delivery of hardy plank, which is a cement board for the cladding, which I'm hoping will arrive at a good time tomorrow. Get that put away as well. They're quite big lengths, they're like 3.6 metre lengths, so should look really nice. I've got it in anthracite grey to match the UPVC windows that I've got on this office, and I'll be putting them on obviously once we've done all the internal bits. So that's where I'm at. Hope you're enjoying it. I'll be doing a load more. I think I might need to tidy up my room. I've got some nice desks that I've put in at the end there. So as you can see, I've managed to cover everything in rubbish. I've got tools and wires and bits everywhere. So lots of work to do to tidy up, but I can do that luckily away from the weather because I'll be indoors. So I've just taken delivery of the cladding for my observatory, and I thought I'd share, if I can just squeeze through, I thought I would share an image of it for you so you can see what finish I'm going for. So I've chosen a product that's a cement board. It's called Hardy Plank. It's a cement and plastic board, and let's take this cover off, and it's in a lovely anthracite grey to match the UPVC that I've got on the windows on the office. So really nice. They come in 3.6 metre lengths. Got 31 lengths of the stuff. This obviously is really big. The corny parts to go in. We've got the starting trim, and then there's some paint there because you have to seal the ends if you cut it, because it's actually, I mean, these are sealed, but you can see there it's like a porous surface. You mustn't get this surface wet, otherwise it soaks in. So that will be really good once that's all put in place. Hello, Havana. You come to say hello? Come here then. It looks like the dog wants to have a little look at what's going on. You want me to come and say hello to you? All right then. I'm okay. All right, you go back out then. We got loads of wood here as well, loads of timber. So we've got the uprights for the roll-off roof section. There's some longer ones at the bottom there, which I hand-picked from Jewson's to make sure that they were dead straight. So I've got 2 3-metre lengths, and then I've got the uprights to support them. And then I've got 6x2s and 5x2s, which are going to be making up my flat roof structure. And here we have 13 sheets of OSB, 13 sheets. So that's all got to go up the garden as well. And this is what will be making up the walls and the roof panels. So I've basically got everything here. There's plenty of it and it's all got to go up the garden, but I can't do anything for the next week because I've got work and other commitments. But after that, I'll be cracking into it again and hopefully getting the observatory construction finished. The only thing I've still to purchase is the rubber roof sheet and glues because I'm going to be putting the rubber roof on. So I know what I'm getting. And I even know the online company I'm using, which is Rubber Roofs for You, I think they're called. But I've seen some videos on their products and how to lay it. All seems very straightforward and looks like a really good product. And I've also been having a look at the motor I bought for the movement of the roof, and I've been able to this was a bit of luck actually, but I've got a big mounting plate here that I'm going to be using. But this is the actual motor, and this was my old motor which I'm actually going to be giving to a friend. This has got a 17 tooth gear and this has got a 19 tooth gear, and what that means is that this one doesn't open or close the roof as quickly, which I think will be good for the fact it's so heavy, because any sudden movements and jolts is going to start to loosen things. So, but what this has also got is a slow start. So it's got a capacitor in there, obviously, that slowly feeds in the power so that it builds up its speed rather than just taking off and stopping. So I'm really pleased about that. I think that's going to work really well. I actually was just about to try and take the lid off, and I've been having a look inside, and the reason why I've gone for this style of motor is you've got these magnetic sensors that work with large magnets. Now these aren't to do with the Arduino and the operation of opening and closing the roof with an ASCOM driver, which I'll be setting up. These are to tell the motor the limits of its movement, so when to stop in its open position and when to stop for its closed position. So I'll be taking these out of here, extending the wires and mounting these into the framework of the observatory. And up here, I've had a look at all the paperwork, and on this dim here, if this number 1 dim is switched to 1, slow start is enabled. So that should be very good. And I've got to work, the main power goes in here, and my Arduino controls will be talking to it through here to get it to start, stop and close. So that shouldn't be too difficult to do. Obviously there's a lot of work and stuff with this, and we'll just get this into place. As I say, I couldn't use my old motor. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it, and my friend, as I say, is going to have it, but this has to be mounted in the upright position because there's ramps on the rack, and the ramps hit this switch to tell it when it, like, obviously it goes one way, hits the switch, says, and it will stop. And then it knows that when the next signal comes in, it goes the other way, and then the ramp at the other end hits that and it stops. Well, that means you've got to have this mounted vertically, and I want it inside the observatory. This used to be outside. The magnetic one allows you to have that. This can be inside and mounted on the wall on the side with this cog pointing up, and the teeth will be on the roof and working that way, so the cog will be spinning around and pushing it that way from the side, and that should work very well. So I'm looking forward to getting all of that kind of stuff done. That's quite exciting. Yeah, that would be a really good part. Initially though, the roof will be manually pushed unless I can just get the motor on and I'll control it with the remote control. I'll make sure the magnets are in the right places at the beginning though, so I don't have any danger of that roof rolling off, because it's going to be a heavy one, not going to be something I'm going to be able to lift back on once I've built it in place. So there we go. Right, so that is all my parts. I say there's a little bit more to come, but this is pretty much everything I need to get that obviously built. I know you can't wait for it to be built. I can't either, but unfortunately life, work, weather, they all play a part, stop me from doing what I actually want to get on with. And but I am getting there, and hopefully I reckon about another 3-4 weeks and it'll all be complete and I'll be using it. I had the CT10 up, which I think I mentioned earlier, which was really nice on the EQ8. Which I had a few gremlins when I set everything up. The USBs didn't want to talk to each other, usual thing, little conflicts. Can't find this camera, can't find that COM port. We all have these problems. Sometimes it's the lead, sometimes it's just a case of going into device manager and refreshing things, updating drivers, just, you know, unplugging stuff and plugging it back in. But eventually it all got working, and you had the 533MC on the CT10, which I wanted to try because I knew it'd be really zoomed in. Got it on the Ghost Nebula, which is just next to the Iris Nebula, and it's a dark nebula. And this is one of the reasons why I bought a one-shot colour camera for dark nebulas and galaxies, and I want to try it on a galaxy next. But I went for this dark nebula because I know it's a tricky target. I was taking 10-minute subs. The only filter I was using was an IR UV cut filter from Altair Astro, which is in a filter drawer. The camera was brilliant. Chilled it to -5, got it on the target, and was taking 10-minute subs. I managed to get 4 hours of data. So it was 24 subs, basically 240 minutes. And I think the final result is actually quite impressive. One of the reasons why I went for one-shot colour was for dark nebula. I've taken the Dark Shark with my mono camera, and that came out really well. But there's something about one-shot colour, it seems to capture that dust a lot better. The colouring, everything just seems to be a little bit easier, especially when it comes to the editing. So for things like that, this one-shot colour camera is going to be brilliant. And of course I know many of you use one-shot colour, so it's good for me to have a camera that's similar to what you're using, and we can compare and show what these cameras are capable of doing. So the 533 is an excellent camera, and for the price you're getting a lot of camera for your money. I know some people don't like the square sensor, the 1-inch square sensor. At the moment, I've not really found it an issue. I think it fits certain targets quite nicely. But for me, I'm going to be using it on my CT10 because it gives me a really good zoomed in field of view. The 3.7 pixel scale suits the 1200mm CT10 okay, no problems. So we're all looking good. So that's where I'm going to go with it for now, and just see how it all works out. Anyway, thanks ever so much for dropping in, checking out my channel. I hope you're enjoying it. I will catch up with you again soon with some more building, and until next time, please take care, and I wish you all, of course, clear skies.